Hello everyone, I am Alka and I welcome you all to my channel Study with Alka. Today in this video, I am going to give you a brief introduction of the chapter Life Processes. This is the 6th chapter of class 10th NCERT science book and first chapter of your biology section. Dear students, it's a very important chapter for CBSE class 10th students, and please keep in mind that this is a very huge chapter, so we are going to discuss this whole chapter in the form of various subtopics or subchapters, and this is only the first introductory part where I am just going to give you a brief introduction of what actually we are going to study further in this chapter, in this lecture series. Hope you all will be clear with your doubts regarding this chapter, and this video actually helps you. So now let us start the chapter. Dear students, the name of the chapter itself consists of two terms, life and processes. So basically in this whole chapter you are going to study and I am going to explain you about life and its various essential processes such as nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. These four are important topics which we are going to discuss in detail in the upcoming video. Now in this video, let us first start with the question, what is life? So what is life? In Hindi, life simply means जीवन, मतलब वो जिंदगी जो हम और हमारी तरह every existing living organism of this planet Earth is living, right? This very time period and the state of being alive can be understood as life. So, life can be described as the time period between the birth and the death of a living organism. So, this time period which we are right now living, which is the current present time period of any living organism, from its being alive, from its birth to its death, is simply life, जिसको कि हिंदी में जिंदगी भी कहा जा सकता है, जीवन भी कहा जा सकता है. Okay, now what are the things and how will one categorize and characterize life? What are the characteristics that is going to differentiate between a living organism from a non-living organism? Now what is living and non-living? Dear students, please note that everything on this planet Earth can be broadly divided into two categories, living and non-living. And so there are two kinds of things on this planet Earth, that is living things and non-living things. Living things can be simply characterized by its ability to respire, digest food, metabolism, locomotion, reproduction and several other processes. Now before moving on further, it becomes necessary to discuss about some basic differences between living and non-living things. Now let me first talk about living things. So the different characteristics that differentiate living things from non-living things are: living things have the capacity to perform respiration, and therefore it is said that living things have some life. Now what is respiration? Dear students, please note that I am further going to explain you about respiration and various kinds of respiration in another video of this very lecture series, because respiration is one of the life process that is given in in this chapter, and we will discuss it in detail later on. But for the time being, please note that respiration simply involves the process of breathing, that is taking in of oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide, which actually happens in case of human beings and other animals, while in case of plants, respiration involves the intake of carbon dioxide. Along with breathing, respiration involves the use of this oxygen in further breakdown of food materials, stored food materials, so that energy can be produced, and this energy is the very source of the existence of our life. Now, second point is that living things express locomotion. Most of the living things show locomotion. What is locomotion? Locomotion simply means movement of anything from one place to another place. Now, plants are the only living things that don't show any external locomotion, right? Plants cannot move from one place to another, and they don't have the capacity to change their position. But that doesn't mean that plants are not living things. Locomotion is one of the characteristics that should be there in a living thing, but it is not necessary that every living thing must show locomotion. Respiration is the essential characteristic that every living thing must show, and plants perform respiration. Now, third point is that living things undergo several metabolic reactions. Now, what is this metabolic reactions? For the time being, metabolic reactions involve every chemical reaction that goes on in a living body in their life. Next point is that living things grow and develop. We know that every living thing has the capacity to grow and therefore further develop. Living beings can create offsprings of their own kind, and this very process is called reproduction. Living things has a unique capacity, characteristic of creating their own offsprings. So living things also show reproduction. Next is living things perform nutrition and digestive processes along with other essential life processes such as excretion, transportation, control and coordination. These are the life processes that a living thing must show, and they show. Non-living things, on the other hand, shows no respiration and is therefore they are considered lifeless. Also, non-living things cannot show any locomotion without any external force. We know that a non-living thing cannot move from one place to another without any external force. Suppose there is a table, right? Table is a non-living thing because they don't show any respiration, they are lifeless. And we know that table cannot move from one place to another by its own. So there is no locomotion in a non-living thing without external force. Another characteristic is that non-living things also don't show any metabolic activities. Non-living things cannot develop until or unless any external addition of materials happen. Suppose there is a table, right? A table is of a particular size. It cannot develop and increase its size on its own. But if we add some more wood to it, external material to it, the size of the table can be increased. So, non-living things can develop, but only by external addition of materials. Also, non-living things don't show any essential life cycles and life processes such as reproduction, nutrition, excretion, respiration, etc. So these are the basic differences between living things and non-living things. Now, another important term which must be explained, or which you must understand is the term metabolism. Just while discussing about the characteristics of living things, I told you that living things show and express metabolic reactions. So what are these metabolic reactions? Metabolism is a term that is used to describe all the chemical reactions that is involved in maintaining the living state of the cells and the organism. Dear students, you all know that every living organism on this planet Earth is made up of cells. And so these cells need to be maintained and need to be alive. And therefore they undergo various reactions, various chemical reactions. And these chemical reactions simply can be termed as metabolism. Now, metabolism can be conveniently divided into two categories. Dear students, there are some chemical reactions that involve the breakdown of complex molecules to obtain energy, and those metabolic reactions are called as catabolism. Catabolism involves the breakdown of molecules to obtain energy. For example, the breakdown of stored food in a living organism, in a human body, so that energy can be produced is an example of catabolism. On the other hand, the synthesis of all compounds needed by the cells falls in the category of anabolism. For example, the process of photosynthesis in a plant, where plant takes various things from environments such as carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and with the help of all these things, it synthesizes their own food, that is glucose. Here, there is a synthesis of a compound, means a compound is being produced, is being synthesized. And so anabolism involves the synthesis of a compound, means making of a compound, whereas catabolism involves breakdown of a compound to produce energy, whereas anabolism involves the composition, the combining of compound and making of a compound which is needed by the cells. Hope you are clear with the term metabolism. So this is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like the video and share it with your friends and subscribe my channel.